We've all lost our first couple games and chalked it up to them being warm-up games. But it's time to stop kidding ourselves and develop some techniques to help you have a solid warm-up routine. What's up guys, it's Valued, and today you're gonna learn a ton of ways to warm up your aim and skip that warm-up game. Are you guys hyped up? I know I am, so let's get right into it. All right guys, so nothing achieves the goal of simulating combat better than our first option for warming up. If you have a friend you're looking to hop into some games with, first you guys have got to hit up the 1v1 rock. We've talked about it on the channel before, but basically you're using this rock as the stage for you to have as many free warm-up gunfights as you like. All you gotta do is square up on either side, turn off friendly fire, and fight until someone gets downed. And you guys can set up a ton of cool scenarios with this, letting you get warmed up on a variety of weapons and practice winning tight gunfights. The best way to run this is to have the same loadout on either side and only peek each other at the top of the rock. This makes for a level playing field, and the top of the rock has plenty of room to let you warm up your strafing during gunfights. And if neither of you heal, it should make for a good competition, and this lets you get reps in a gunfight with a target that actually shoots back. You can obviously 1v1 anywhere in the firing range as well. So, if you want to set up on either side and face off, it's not a bad idea. Just be mindful of your aim, movement, and overall form while you're doing these warm-ups. The goal here is to shut off that rust and feel good going into your first game, not to beat your friend in a 1v1 every single time. Though, winning those 1v1s sure does feel nice, especially on the old rock. Before we dive into some more firing range warm-up options, let's talk about one of the best ways to warm up for our keyboard and mouse friends, and that is aim labs. The reason aim labs is one of the best ways to improve is because of how many training exercises there are. Are you having trouble tracking your opponents? Then hop into the tracking playlist. Or what if you're missing the majority of your shotgun shots? Then the flicking section has you covered with so many different practice methods. One of my personal favorites is Spider Shot because of how quickly you have to flick to each of the targets. And the list of useful training resources in aim lab goes on and on. The most important thing about aim labs and every technique that we talk about is you need to do it often and do the same practices over and over. Building up your muscle memory is the main reason why you should even aim train or warm up in the first place. For me, aim training and warming up was really important in allowing me to reach Apex Predator in Season 5. Every day, I would wake up, do 10 minutes of aim labs, do a little warm up in the firing range, play a pub game, and then I'd hop right into ranked with my teammates. And guys, aim labs work for me, so I definitely recommend giving it a try. And speaking of things I'd recommend trying, if you're looking to step your game up to the next level, then there's no better place than ProGuides.com. The coaches over there can help you find the weaknesses in your game and eliminate them. If you're looking to make some serious RP gains, the link is going to be in the description. Okay guys, back to the action. If you don't have a duo for the first method, or maybe you aren't on PC and you don't want to use aim labs, then no worries. If you're looking to get a good solo warm-up, done all in the comfort of your own firing range, then these next few regimens have you covered. Each of these practice options will help you warm up in different aspects of fighting in Apex Legends, regardless of your input or your skill level. The firing range has a ton of options for you to practice your skill set before jumping into a game. And one of the most important skill sets you want to make sure is nice and warmed up is your crack aiming. This skill refers to your ability to flick onto your target over and over again with lower rate of fire weapons. Generally, it's useful when you're using close-ranged guns like the shotguns, but can also apply to the wingman or bocek. My personal favorite to practice with this are the Peacekeeper and the EVA 8 shotties. Just find yourself one of the dummies and position yourself right in front of it, but facing it so it's a 90-degree angle on your left or on your right. Once in place, repeatedly flick onto it and back off the dummy, resuming your original position of looking past every time. Do this as fast as your fire rate will allow, and once you're into the groove of hitting all your shots, add in some movement, staying close to the target, and practicing flicking back onto their hitbox as fast as you can. Do this for a couple minutes or until you're hitting all your shoddy pellets consistently at close range. Remember guys, when doing any of these drills, it's important to simulate in-game play as much as possible, so feel free to add in your own movement or flair while warming up to make sure you're using as many button presses as you would in a live fight. The practice is what you make it, so take hitting these shots and your movement seriously. Alright guys, this next drill is similar to the crack aim drill, but has way more variety. And this drill will be for warming up your automatic weapon use with a focus on trying to single clip down an enemy. You can do this with any automatic gun, but I'd recommend trying to do it with at least one light and one heavy weapon so you have a bit of variety. For this drill, you're looking to one-clip the dummies from varying distances. Start with just strafing and firing at close range, taking down the dummy in one clip. Once you do this, back up 10 steps, do it again until you're able to one-clip the dummy within reasonable distance. The exact measurements really don't matter that much, but just make sure you get some space between you before finishing this part of the drill. As you move further away, keep spicing up the fight with the dummy with some jump slides or tap strafing. The more movement you can add in while constantly snapping onto these dummies and immediately killing them, the better. Alright guys, bonus tip. While you have an automatic weapon in your hands, you can also use the moving targets in the back of the firing range to practice a little long-range tracking. These targets don't feel as good to use because they have some odd damage feedback and they're big and bulky, but they can give you a moving target to add some tracking in. Alright guys, this next warm-up tip is going to help you get ready to snap onto heads and get maximum damage out of your single fire weapons. Here, we're going to utilize the black and red targets on either side of the training dummies. These targets have markers for headshots at the top, and we're going to be using the center head marker for our warm-up. My favorite gun to use here is the Wingman, but you can use this to warm up for ARs in the single fire mode or any other single fire weapon. What you want to do is use these headshot indicators to practice quickly acquiring the target and hitting the headshots on all of them in rapid succession. It can be hard to get all the targets available in your line of sight at once, so a cool way of doing this drill is working your way down the line rapidly, slide jumping and hitting the last target as you go by. You can even back up to the platforms and do this from there, giving you a bit more distance to account for. The goal is to be able to hit headshots on every shot going down the line. If you could do this while on the move in the firing range, you're going to come out the drop straight ready to fry. Now, this one might seem obvious, but playing a couple pubs can be a very valuable training and warm-up habit. After you've gotten your reps in the firing range, playing a couple of matches before hopping into rank can be the final step to help you skip having a warm-up game. More importantly, you should look to have a decent game before hopping into competitive, trying to get a top 10 or even better, a top 5. Having a match where you go through all the motions, looting, fighting, and rotating throughout a game is going to make sure you're playing at your best before putting your RP on the line. While playing these public matches, put a heavy focus on your fundamentals, focusing heavily on recoil control and movement. You should be mindful of your decisions and why you're making them, but also play aggressive to ensure you get a lot of combat reps during these games. Think of these matches as an extension of the firing range, except it's the final test before you enter the real lobbies. Setting a little goal for yourself, whether it's top 10 like we mentioned before, or getting 5 kills, is going to help you to have a barrier to enter for your ranked session. This is going to help you feel more confident in your play and is going to eliminate a lot of those fluke games. Another important thing to remember about these routines is they're essentially practice rounds for your game. They don't only need to be used when warming up. They can also be a powerful tool to help you regain after a couple bad matches. While it's great to be warmed up and having good mechanics, if your mentality in a game is suffering, it's going to show through every single match, even if you follow these tips. If you find yourself losing your edge in a game or you feel like you're getting tilted, these recommendations can be used to help you dial back in. Go take a walk, grab some water, and hop back into the firing range. If you had a couple bad games, maybe your aim was shaky or some unfortunate third parties caught you off guard. Going back through each of these warm-ups is going to help you hone in on things that you can control. Apex is a game with a ton of variables, and it can be stressful if you have some unfortunate games. But going into the firing range by yourself and focusing on your game can really help give you a mental reset, leaving you feel confident about your ability to win the next game. Alright guys, if you follow these recommendations when warming up, you're going to feel way more confident when dropping into your games. Being dialed in when you're playing ranked or even just playing pubs can be super important if you want to win RP or just get some more wins in pub matches. Just remember guys, practice is only as good as you make it, so spend some time finding out which of these drills you really like and maybe which ones you didn't. Let us know in the comments below if you guys have any warm-up routines that you do that we didn't touch on here. And anyway guys, it's been valued, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.